Let's talk further about what we've heard from the ANC today. Bring in political analyst Sandile Swana, joining us from Johannesburg, I believe, sir. A very good afternoon to you. Anything stand out for you from these nominations?
Yes, I think that when you look at the lead that Ramaphosa has, it's more than double the lead of his competitor, the number of the supporter for his competitor, Zweli Mkhize. But what we do not know is precisely where that support is coming from. But I want to say that when I read these numbers, it appears that the two game changers, if you were to want to swing this election in your favor, Mokonyane and Paul Mashatile, to me, still remain two game changers. I mean, to get above 1,700 nominations, each one of them, if you were to get those on your side one way or the other, it could really count. The other interesting one is the contest for Treasurer General, Benjamin Chauke and Pule Mabe. It's close. The leader has got 552, Mabe has got 428. Which means that if Mabe wanted it seriously, he still has room to really swing that particular position to his favor if he wanted it. So, but yeah, so far that is what it is. But in the ANC, a day is far too long.
You say in the ANC a day is far too long. Do you think we're going to now begin to hear whispers about some of the potential horse trading for people who are trying to ensure that they put together some sort of slate come December?
Yes, I think the results that we have seen so far, I could be corrected on this, but if, for instance, you thought we are going for a outright change of the game, the likes of indeed Mtumiseni Ntuli, the likes of Phoebe Potgieter, this other one from National Treasury, Masondo.
David Masondo.
Those would have been, David Masondo, those ones would have been much more prominent in this lineup. But you see, the anchors of the previous regime, the likes of Nomvula Mokonyane, even the likes of Paul Mashatile, who's been in every type of unclear grey area for the longest time, still being there, including Cyril Ramaphosa himself, of course. So this is not necessarily an indication that the old ANC is being changed here.
Right. And when you look at the nominations for president, I mean, Cyril Ramaphosa's got just above 200. 2,000, I beg your pardon. Zweli Mkhize's got 916. Two things stand out, and I'd like to get your thoughts on both. Cyril Ramaphosa has taken quite a beating as the incumbent. Even some of the other people who wanted to be elected president of the ANC going for his leadership quite fiercely. Zweli Mkhize was health minister, left under very dodgy circumstances with allegations, all of which are yet to be cleared out, shall we say. The president is facing his own set of allegations when you look at Phala Phala. What is behind the popularity of both men in the party at the moment?
At the moment, the ANC has learned a dangerous set of politics since Polokwane, if I may put it that way, whereby people could say anyone but Zuma or anyone but Mbeki, stuff like that, whereby you become popular because an artificial monopoly has been created. So Cyril Ramaphosa, once the monopoly has been fenced in of the people who can become president in the ANC, once you close the fence around that, then Cyril Ramaphosa emerges as the best devil amongst all of them. Or then you have to choose, is it Mkhize is one devil, is it Ramaphosa the one devil, but he's the better devil. It looks like billionaires like him. It looks like the King of England likes him. It looks like Biden in the USA seems to be fond of him. It looks like we will be in the good books of our former colonial masters if we befriend this guy. Clearly, Zelimkiza doesn't have those types of credentials. So those are some of the things. But what will then puzzle you, even then, is because the other people who would have been much more entrenched in the Zuma way of doing things are still extraordinarily popular. I mean, Nomvula Muponyane is totally, absolutely outstanding as things stand today, and that is puzzling to say exactly what is it that we're talking about. So it's a whole hodgepodge of things. It's as if we're trying to be a modern Western type democracy with all sorts of rules of governance and appearance, and at least a good facade, which Cyril Ramaphosa presents very well, a good appearance, not substance, good appearance, but at the same time, you want those backroom boys and girls who can do, the shady work behind the scenes.
Why is it that the ANC appears at a top 6 level only comfortable in nominating women, electing women to the role of Deputy Secretary General? It was Jessie Duarte until her passing. Yes, I know Balagambete was previously chair, but when you look at this list, only the role of DSG has women nominated from a list of 16 names.
Some of these organizations like the ANC, we call them progressive. We call the Russian Communist Party progressive. We call the Chinese Communist Party progressive. And probably when their leaders stand up, they make the most penetrating statements about gender equality and feminism. But when you look at the leaders of the ANC over time, you look at the leaders of the Russian Communist Party over time, the Chinese Communist Party, these are patriarchal organizations, finish and plan. So the tradition of male leadership is there. The tradition of male leadership in South Africa is well entrenched. When the chips were down, even in the DA, by the way, when they had to get rid of certain people, including Delil in the Western Cape, they then said, get people a white male leader. In the ANC, DA, all these major parties, patriarchal leadership, male leadership is still prized. And unfortunately, the men, one way or the other, are still in power. Sometimes, even if they are a minority in the organization, the same women will also vote for the men.
And I want to talk to you lastly, Mr. Swana, about the phenomenon of Paul Mashatile. He's had immense success, has he not, within the ANC, currently the Treasurer General, nominated now with a lead based on nominations thus far for the role of Deputy President. There's also been some suggestion that some may in fact pull a surprise and put his name forward for the role of President at conference when nominations from the floor happen. He's not a man of many words. He's not wildly charismatic. What is it about him that the people in the ANC love so much?
I think, and your question is excellent, as what do the people in the ANC like so much about him? Because we are now not talking about ordinary voters and the people in the street. We are talking about the mechanics of the ANC. All I can say about Paul, which is why I've said before that Paul is the David Mabuza of this conference, because Paul knows how to work the party machinery, how to put things in place, in branches, in regions, so that whatever agenda at a point in time he feels must prevail, it prevails. And when you look at it, to move from 1,700 and a bit to the 2,000 and a bit is probably about 600 votes behind Cyril Ramaphosa. So he has got quite a substantial weight in the African National Congress. Even if you were to stand for the presidency of the ANC itself, if they manage to kick Ramaphosa and Zwelimkize out, certainly he has support. And I think Paul, amongst all the princes, Paul and Nomvula are people who are actually on the ground, who can touch the physical mechanism of the ANC, probably more than anybody else.
But very briefly, sir, would a good number of nominations for the role of Deputy President, for instance, automatically qualify to just as much popularity, I wonder, for the number 1 job? Because publicly, he appears to only have staked his job on the role of number 2.
Yes, remember that for the time being, there's a tradition to say, look, you are the deputy president, and that in itself, with what the they've created recently, maybe in the past 15 so many years, that automatically signals that you are a future president. If that were to be accelerated, I don't think that would be too much of a stretch.
All right.
So if Paul's presidency would be accelerated, I don't think it would be too much of a stretch.
Sandile Swana, always good to speak to you, sir. Thank you for your time.